Welcome back, comic book collectors and enthusiasts. My name is Brandon, and you're watching MONcomics. Hey, welcome back everyone to another video. This week I have actually like a two-part video, more or less, of where I got the comics from. The first part was Middle of Nowhere, or MON Mail, I'm now calling it, and then the second part is books I picked up in person. I'm always happy to add books to my collection, but these I was very, very excited to get. One I had been chasing for a while and finally found it myself. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the books. The first book up is Where Monsters Dwell, number 5 from 1970. The cover art is done by Marie Severin and Dick Ayers. And this is actually a compilation of like 4 different stories. And Taboo is, of course, the first story. And then there's some other characters here. I think that's Master Khan. And the stories are really cool in this. They're all like short story compilations. And Taboo was supposed to be, you know, this bad guy wrecking the bad monster, you know, wreaking havoc. But he's an alien, and some of his species actually come at the end of the story, and they're like, "We will be friends with you humans," you know. But the other stories are the Master Khan one. I think was my favorite because he was on a ship, and I believe someone tried to take the ship over, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." And they sailed into mist. And then it pans out and the ship is in a bottle and Master Khan's like looming over it. So really cool twist. I love stories like that. The other people that also worked on this were Stan Lee and Larry Lieber did 3 of the stories together, and Stan Lee did one by himself. But there was also work done in here by Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. So it's a really cool comic. And another reason I wanted to pick it up is because actually I have... on Hulk Annual number 5, you'll see Taboo's down in the bottom there. So I actually think I'm going to try to pick up some more books with the different creatures like Blip and Goom and Titan and Diablo and whatever I can get a group. But I just wanted to add that to the collection because I'm a monster fan anyways. And now that I know like there's other ones like compilation stories like this, I'm definitely going to go try to buy more because they're really cool stories. So that was the first book I got in the mail. The next book is one of a few this artist has done, but I definitely have a connection to wanting to get this book for a while. I've seen it. I never pulled the trigger, but it is Doctor Strange number 4 with my man Frank Bruner doing the cover, and it was written by Steve Englehart and Bruner as well. And he did the cover. Bruner did the cover and the art for it. I have not had a chance to read all the books I've got in. It's been pretty hectic lately with 2 young ones and work and such, but this one, I mean, look at that cover, and the splash page, I'll put it up here, is really cool too. But again, I've just been a huge fan of Bruner's art, and I have him in Man-Thing, but I wanted to get some other stories, so I'm considering this one of many to come of other Frank Bruner's work I'm going to get. So this was actually 1974 as well, so very, very happy to add another Doctor Strange piece, especially a Frank Bruner one, to my collection. I love his signature. It's right down there. So yeah, can't wait to read it. So for the last few videos, I've been talking about how I had been planning to go to a comic show this past Sunday for a couple months. I had seen the advertisement for it on Facebook. It was in Syracuse, New York, and I had asked my wife if she minded watching the girls that day, and she was totally cool with it. And I asked my friend Sean Evans, who actually is the writer and artist for Bitey, the comic that I talked about a few videos back. I said, "Do you want to go to the show with me?" And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's go have an adventure." So we were really pumped. So Thursday before the show comes, and I get a notification on Facebook that the date of the show had been moved. I wasn't sure if this was right, so I reached out to the organizer and said, "Hey, is this show really moved to August now?" And they said, "Yep, it's August 20th. Well, not only is that really in my wife's busy wedding season, but it's our anniversary, and there's no way, even if she wanted me to, I wouldn't go hunt comics on our anniversary, because I love hanging out with my wife all the time, but especially on our anniversary. So to say I was a little bummed would be an understatement. But I didn't let that get me down. My wife was still cool and said, "Hey, why don't you pick up Sean and just go to a comic shop, have an adventure." So we decided to do just that. So I picked Sean up and we drove up to Syracuse and we went to Larger Than Life Toys and Comics, located in, they have two locations, and I'll put the business card right up here. One in Destiny Mall in Syracuse, New York, and one in Clay at the I used to be at the Great Northern Mall, I believe, but I think it's just a standalone store now. But I had been there in the past. I had bought other collectibles from them, Star Wars figures and such, and I knew they had great inventory. So I ended up going to the store, and I just want to show you guys a little footage of what they have to offer and what I was looking at there. So, Larger Than Life Toys and Comics. This one was in Destiny, USA, the location downstairs of the food court. And as you come in, you can see they've just got a huge array of collectibles. And I see the comic long boxes. Again, they have Halloween masks, Funko Pops, you name it, they got it. Like I said, a little bit for every kind of collector, toys. But I was here to hunt comics that day. They had this awesome full-size Predator and a sweet Linda Blair bust. They had some really cool statues. I had fun looking at these. Just anything you could want in statues, they had it. Loved that crow statue. That was so sweet. And of course, they had some beautiful slabbed keys. Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, Venom, Hulk, X-Men, Thor, you name it. So after taking a lap around the store and checking out everything, I decided to try and get focused on what I was there for, which was comics. So I found the long box with the Giants, or with Man-Thing, and they didn't have a ton, but they had some. And so I just started thumbing through. I looked at my phone, you know, what issues I need to complete my run, and I started finding them. And I was just happy to be looking at, you know, comics in the comic store. So they had the older Man-Thing in mixed with newer issues. So I noticed, you know, I had a lot of these, but when I did find the ones that I wanted, I just started pulling them out and trying to figure out what I was going to purchase that day. So after Man-Thing, I was able to go on over and check out some Fantastic Four, and you could see they had some different keys. First there was just more modern books, but then I found the older books, and I'm just trying to decide which ones I want to get, you know, closer to the ones in the run I already have. So really cool to see, you know, just have access to these comics. You know, my whole thing is shopping online and getting them through the mail in the middle of nowhere. But it was really nice to be there and to be able to, you know, hold the book and check them out and see which ones I wanted to get. I love that Mole-Man cover. Sweet books. So there you have it, a Larger Than Life Toys and Comics. That big thanks to Jake and Daryl who were working that day. They were absolutely awesome in helping me find what I needed. I was trying to find something for my oldest daughter, Evelyn. She's, of course, a Frozen fan. So I picked her up an Elsa Pop, and I was looking for Olaf. Couldn't find them, but their staff was out feverishly looking among the hundreds of pops they had trying to help me. So thanks a lot, guys. It just great customer service and meant a lot to me. So you saw me looking through the Man-Thing books, and I ended up getting two that I needed for my run. And unfortunately, when I got home, I noticed I had picked up 5 books there, and I had noticed that the bags just needed to be replaced. So I went to replace the bags, and unfortunately, when I opened up the bags, there was water damage to the comics. So as you can see, this actually was still so wet that it peeled off of the backing of the board. Part of the comic came off onto the board. So I was really confused. I was like, well, I didn't get them wet. I got them from the store, put them in the back of my truck, away from any kind of liquids. I'm always very careful when handling my books. So I was confused, so I took the other one out, and sure enough, this one, it's warped. It's not as badly water damaged, but you can see the stain here as well. So at this point, I was just, you know, books are books, but what I was more worried about is that maybe this shop, they were actually located below the food court in the mall. So maybe it was possible they had a leak because my other 3 books were perfectly fine and dry. So I tried to call the shop. By this time, it was much later at night. It was a Sunday because I had to get my kids to bed, and no one answered. So I called the other location, and I let the person there know what was going on. And I said, hey, you know, I got some books, and I'm just concerned you guys have a leak. And he was concerned as well. He said he was going to call the associates on their cell phones, and they advised me to send a message to the Facebook page as well, telling them, you know, what I had observed. And I just, I said, I don't care about the money at this point. I'm just concerned there's a leak in your store, because we've all seen, well, I don't know, I won't speak for everyone, but I've seen different videos of comic stores getting leaks and ruining a lot of inventory. And I didn't want that to happen to a small business, or any business for that matter. So I sent a Facebook message, and the next day I got a reply from the manager, Alex. And he said that they did in fact, or have in fact, had leaks before. And he thanked me profusely for, telling them about it. And I said, listen, I don't care about the books or a refund or anything. I just need to make sure you guys are, got this under control. But Alex went above and beyond and said, listen, whatever you paid for the books, show, if you go back to the store, when you go back, show the associate this message, and you'll get that back in credit to spend in the shop. And I was thankful. I wasn't really looking for anything. I was just concerned because they weren't really expensive books. I was concerned for the shop. That is what I consider really great customer service. I mean, it's the right thing to do, but they were just they acknowledged it, that they had leaks before, and no one's perfect, no shop's perfect, and if it's something that was out of their control, then it is what it is. But they were awesome. I will definitely be going back there, because that is the kind of customer service a small business should strive to obtain. So Alex, Jake, Daryl, thank you for all your help. I hope to see you guys soon. So I will talk about the Man-Thing books, and then I'll talk about the other 3 books as well, just so I can show you what I got. So the first thing is Man-Thing number 17. Again, I was looking for books to finish my original Man-Thing run. The cover is done by Jim Mooney, and then Steve Gerber did the entire run for Man-Thing for the first, I think, 39 issues. So it's a cool cover. I didn't even read it. It like I said, it is water damage. It smells musty, but there's some really cool art inside, I noticed. If you... some cosmic stuff, Nexus of Reality type stuff. So yeah, very cool. I think I can just add this to my collection as a reader copy. I'm not trying to go for a high grade collection anyways, so this one at least survived enough for me to add to the collection. The next one up is Man-Thing number 15, cover by Gil Kane, actually, and written by Steve Gerber again. I don't know what to do with this one, to be honest. I mean, I don't think it affects the story. I haven't even opened it up since, yeah. I mean, I can still read it. I don't think it affects the story at all, but it just has this funky smell to it. So I will probably still be looking for this to complete my run. We talked about Marvel cards, or I talked about Marvel cards before, and how they had a big influence on me growing up, looking at comics and what I wanted to collect and get into it. And one character always stood out to me, again, probably the monster lover in me, but it was Fin Fang Foom. So this is Astonishing Tales, number 23. This is him versus the Living Colossus. And Fin Fang Foom was an alien. Of course, they came down to Earth for world domination. His first appearance is Tales of Suspense 89, I believe, and that is just, even in like low grade, is hundreds of dollars, ridiculously expensive. And in that issue, I have read that online. He was in a mountain or a cave system in China, and the communist regime was going to attack an island, and one Chinese boy, his brother was already in the army fighting the communists, and his father, they really didn't have much respect for him. But he had plans to go awaken Fin Fang Foom, and Fin Fang Foom can be awakened with a certain herb and put back to sleep with a different herb. And the kid wakes him up and just leads him on, kind of taunts him until he follows him to this communist fortress, and Fin Fang Foom destroys it all. So that was the first appearance. He also has appearances and implications with Iron Man and the Mandarin. He was in the same area where, or ship that the Mandarin found the 10 Rings of Power. And the Mandarin uses them to wake him up, I believe, and control him, and Iron Man has to fight them. But I haven't had a chance to read this issue yet. Very psyched to have this, because it is not only the third appearance of Fin Fang Foom, it's the second cover appearance. So again, like I said, the Tales of Suspense 89, super expensive to get this second cover appearance. I was really happy about it. Really excited to see 2 Goliath giant creatures going at it. So awesome book. Next book up, everyone knows here by now I'm a fan of the Fantastic Four. I was able to pick up Fantastic Four 56 from 1966, cover of course by Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott. And Stan Lee was a story. Significance of this book is you see his second appearance of Claw, his first appearance being in Fantastic Four 53, which is also the second appearance of Black Panther. I have those, which is awesome. I love this cover. I love how Ulysses Claw is depicted there. And again, this wasn't super expensive. It's a pretty low grade book, but I'm happy to own it, and I'm going to be happy to read it, and I'm just going to continue going on the Fantastic Four run. So very happy with that pickup. The last book I got is Fantastic Four 89. This is from 1969, so 2 Silver Age Fantastic Fours picked up. Again, Joe Sinnott, Jack Kirby art and cover, and then also Stan Lee again as a story. This one features them fighting the Mole Man, Harvey Rupert Elder. It was actually he's the Fantastic Four's first villain they fought. He's not super powered. He is just super genius. Has knowledge of technology way beyond, years ahead of its time. He's very proficient with his staff, and he leads a bunch of subterranean creatures called the Moloids. So again, this was something that a Marvel card kind of drew me to. The first series Marvel card holograms had Fantastic Four versus Mole Man. And I just thought he was such a weird, quirky villain, but I was very happy to. I wanted some kind of Fantastic Four book with a Mole Man on the cover, and the earlier issue is a little bit too pricey for me right now, so I was happy to add this one. So that's it for this week, everyone. I appreciate anyone and everyone tuning in and watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you. If you don't mind subscribing to the channel and want to follow along on my adventures, that'd be awesome. Go ahead and hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Leave me a comment down below. Is anyone else a fan of Fin Fang Foom? Does anyone else like compilation stories like Where Monsters Dwell #5, where it's like 4 short stories broken down? I dig those, and I'd like to know if you did. Please stay tuned. I think I've got books coming back from CGC next week, so I'm going to do a blind unboxing and let you all see the grades as I'm seeing them. So hope everyone's doing well. Have a great rest of your week, and take care. I'll see you next time.